We'll begin this half hour in faraway Middle East, where civilians are fleeing northern Gaza by car, on the back of trucks and on foot, after an Israeli warning that civilians should move south. The early evacuation order by Israel, which includes Gaza City, a home to hundreds of thousands of Palestinians, sparked confusion among civilians and aid workers already running from Israel's airstrikes and contending with a total siege, as well as a territory-wide power blackout. We have more in this report.
Fear and confusion have continued to mount in Gaza after the Israeli army tells more than 1 million trapped Palestinians living in the north of besieged enclave to move south within 24 hours ahead of expected ground offensive. But the United Nations is saying that the mass relocation seems impossible and could have devastating consequences. The EU's top diplomat, Josep Borrell, also says that Israel's call for more than 1 million Palestinians to relocate to the enclave south in 24 hours was unrealistic. However, in the midst of it all, Hamas is calling Israeli warning fake propaganda, asking residents to ignore the order. Now, the Palestine Red Crescent Society has decided not to evacuate to the south despite Israeli army's threat to shell. In Beirut, Iran's foreign minister says the war may open on other fronts if the bombing of Gaza continues. At least 1,537 Palestinians have been killed and 6,612 wounded in Israeli air attacks on Gaza. The number of people killed in Israel has reached 1,300. U.S. Defense Secretary Lord Austin says the U.S. will make Israel have what it needs to protect itself. Mr. Austin spoke at a press briefing in Tel Aviv with Israeli Defense Minister Gallant. For his part, the Israeli Defense Minister thanked the U.S. for its support. And amid growing tension, the World Health Organization has called for immediate humanitarian access to the Gaza Strip, warning that Israel's blockade and bombardment have left the enclave's health system at breaking point. The World Health Organization says Gaza's overstretched hospitals had only a few hours of electricity a day, with fuel being rationed to maintain critical services, including intensive care and X-ray. The United Nations Health Agency called for the opening of a humanitarian corridor to allow health workers into the territory, as well as the evacuation of the sick and injured. It said shortages of medical supplies were also severe, and the time was running out to prevent a humanitarian disaster in the territory. As it stands, Palestinians are watching the siege in Gaza and the growing number of civilians killed in the Israeli bombardment. As everyone awaits the next phase of fighting in the south, fear and suspicion is growing in Jerusalem. Israel has said it has dropped about 6,000 bombs on Gaza since it began its bombardment almost a week ago, following an attack by the armed Hamas group that caught its security forces off guard and killed more than 1,300 Israelis.